Hi guys, welcome back. We are doing our little Psych Eval with the psychiatrist here. And just like before, I'll be answering the questions mostly like, you know, if it were me, I guess. So I actually have a roommate. I rent a flat, it's quite lonely most of the time. I live on my own, it suits me just fine. I live with a friend, she must be worried sick about me. I do have a roommate, but we're not friends, and we don't really... we don't talk. It's not... It's mostly this one. It's mostly this one. However, take a look at that, picture up there in the top left. That's really kind of disturbing. It's not really something that you would have in an office of a psychiatrist where you want to really give a tranquil environment, right? It looks like that person doesn't have a shirt on, looks like they have blood on their torso, looks like somebody is standing behind them doing something to their head. I don't know, perhaps it's an old school lobotomy, which would be pretty fucked up to have in your office, especially if you have patients in there. Anyways, answering the question, basically I live alone because she works nights and I work days, so, well, yeah.
I rent a flat. It's quite lonely most of the time. I used to like being on my own, but I'm not sure if I still do. Too much time with my thoughts, and no one to talk to.
What about Teacup?
Maybe I should get a parrot. We'd have a little chat each time I feel like opening up.
Or maybe you could consider finding friends through our Suicide Watch service. They're very good. Helped a lot of people.
Okay. Maybe I will.
She's like, hell no.
What do you do for a living?
I am between jobs at the moment, actually.
I'm between jobs at the moment. I'll find something soon. But it's been difficult. I didn't feel that great. I felt weak and powerless and tired most of the time. I felt really awfully tired.
Typical depression symptoms. We can give you something for that. You'll feel stronger and motivated.
I admire your faith in modern medication, Doctor. I hope you're right.
Describe to me what your mornings look like. What is the first thing you do each day?
Okay, drink strong coffee and have a smoke on the balcony, eat breakfast, cereal usually, have a cup of tea and read the newspaper. I drink coffee in the morning, I drink tea at night. Oh, I lie in bed awake, can't bring myself to open my eyes. I go to the toilet, doesn't everyone? I put TV on so I can watch old TV shows. If I were to answer this as Susan, I know which one I would pick, and it just so happens to coincide with what I usually do. Don't usually like waking up in the morning. It's very hard. It's very hard
I
to
lie
get
in
up.
bed, awake. Can't bring myself to open my eyes.
I see.
I'm scared of the coming day. I know already what'll happen.
And what's that, Susan?
Nothing, really. Nothing at all happens in this stupid, empty life. Sometimes I wonder why I even get dressed. What for? For who? I hardly ever get out of the flat anyway.
Would you say that you feel safer at home than outside?
Yeah, I suppose. Not really. I don't feel that safe at all. I don't feel that safe at all. So I guess she doesn't feel safe at home or anywhere else. I'll say this one.
Yeah, I suppose. It's not really about safety. I've just felt sad for a long time now. Really sad, you know? Somehow it brings me down even more when I go out and see all those happy, successful people. It makes me feel more like a failure. If I don't see it, it doesn't hurt that much.
What do you think is missing in your life? Or rather, what is one thing that you think would make your life better?
Sorry, guys. Okay, just wanted to comment on that really quick. She was saying going outside, she hated seeing all the happy people. That's that's pretty, again, accurate description of depression symptoms. I mean, a lot of people, including myself, have dealt with depression in the past, and that's everything that she's saying is pretty much her description of how she feels is pretty textbook. It would be nice to have some more money, I guess. No. A good friend. I have a really good friend. Someone I could finally trust. I know it's silly, but I wish I was better looking. Something to fight for, you know? A reason to go on. What is my life missing?
I know it's silly, but I wish I was better looking.
But you are a beautiful woman, Susan.
Please don't. I have a mirror.
Have you ever attended group therapy for depression or some other form of counseling?
Yeah, kind of have always kind of had a little thing about like low self-esteem, but yes, it didn't help me much, as you can see. No, I'm not sure it's a good idea. Okay, so this is specific to Susan. If I were Susan, according to everything she said, it sounds like she really had given up. And I think that for somebody to have that much despair, they probably already tried to get help. Or at least I hope they did. I'm...
Yes, it didn't help much, as you can see.
It's sad,
Just something to think about. I can see you're really willing to open up and talk about your issues. That's a positive sign.
I haven't really talked about my feelings for a long time.
You're doing very well so far. Do you have problems sleeping?
Yeah.
Every night. I take pills for that. There aren't any left now, though.
Ha ha ha.
In the light of recent events, I think you should stay off those pills for a while. I suggest you drink some hot milk before bed instead. Would you describe for me how you feel at the moment?
I don't think she feels fine, honestly. Listen to her voice. I feel like the whole world is against me. Probably shouldn't be saying that to the psychiatrist that is in charge of releasing you. So let's go with this one.
Definitely better than before the accident.
Good. Hopefully you can now move on from here. With a bit of luck, you will enjoy life again. Suicide attempts often have that effect on people.
That's true
Same
too.
as near-death experience. It makes you realize that you're not ready to die yet. Do you find it hard to concentrate?
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes.
Do you drink alcohol, Susan?
Sometimes.
Only sometimes.
I'd suggest you don't consume any alcohol at all for a while. Does that sound like something you can do?
Yeah, sure. I'm not a big drinker anyway.
Sometimes when life gets too much and people feel sad or upset, they think about suicide.
Tea.
Do you often think about suicide?
Is it skipping for you? Right. What he said about the alcohol? Yes. He's absolutely right. If somebody you know or you or a family member suffers from depression, it's extremely important that they don't drink alcohol, because alcohol is a depressant to your nervous system and to your body and to your mind. So it's going to, even though a lot of people don't think it is, because when you go to parties and you go drinking and then you get all wild, right? It's actually a depressant. So somebody who's already depressed, it's going to have a very negative effect on them. Also, if it's going to be impairing their judgment. So depression plus feelings of despair plus alcohol and impaired judgment equals not good decisions sometimes. So, very important. What did he ask me? Oh, suicide. I honestly think that it's normal for a person to have thought about it at some point in their life. I think everybody has, because they've just been in that place where it's crossed their minds. So, and I don't think it's really something that everybody needs to be completely like, oh no, I've never thought about that. So, because it's so taboo, you know? And that's sad, because if somebody's in that state of mind, what they need to do is tell somebody. That way they can get help and get treated and get better. Well, I used to think about it sometimes. So I don't think she probably thought about it often. Let's say she thought about it sometimes.
I used to think about it sometimes. Don't you think about it when you're really down?
Susan, I'm a psychiatrist. My job is to talk people out of it. Would you ask a fireman if he ever thinks about setting fire to his house?
I suppose not. But I'm sure lots of people have times when they do think about it.
I couldn't say, Susan. The statistics show that men are 3 times more likely than women to commit suicide. That puts you in the minority. But of course, that's missing the point. Suicide is never the solution. There's always a way of solving whatever problem you might have.
I realize that now.
Please, in your own words, try to explain to me, why did you really try to take your own life, Susan?
Okay, want to back up really quick. He said that men are more likely to commit suicide, which is true. However, women are much more likely to attempt suicide, meaning they attempt it but they don't necessarily complete it. So that's just a little statistic for you. I can tell you the reason. Men are more successful in completing suicide because they, they usually use more lethal means, if that makes sense, right? Firearms, etc. Okay, kind of grim. I don't know. Just give me my commentary. That's what it is. Let's say, why did she do it? It was just a sudden impulse. Honey, from that narrative that you gave at the very beginning, that was not a sudden impulse. But I guess I could lie to him. I could lie to him and say this. It's probably what he wants to hear. No, probably shouldn't. Nothing was making me happy anymore. I wanted to show everyone how hurt I was deep inside. No, I'm sorry, but that's selfish. I mean, I can sympathize, alright? But I can't empathize. I can sympathize for somebody in pain, but what Susan was expressing at the beginning of the game did not sound like she wanted to express herself to others. She didn't care about others. She didn't talk to anybody. She gave a crap about people. She doesn't like people. So why would she want to show everybody around her how hurt she was? I think that it was personal. I think it was just something about herself.
Nothing was making me happy anymore. There wasn't a single thing that would bring a smile to my face. I kept thinking, won't it be better if I just disappear? I really tried to find something. Took a long bath, picked up a book, watched some television, but I just couldn't get into anything. All those things seemed like worthless distractions, and I myself felt obsolete, needless. It just would get worse and worse. By the afternoon, I realized I cried for the past 3 hours. I didn't even know I'd been crying until I went to the bathroom and saw my face in the mirror. I looked like a ghost. I looked like I was dead already, you know? And then I saw the sleeping pills. I thought, why not? And I did it.
Do you feel as if you're a burden, or that life isn't worth living?
That's two different questions, though. Not anymore. A burden? Why would she feel like she was a burden? She didn't know anybody. She didn't live with anybody. She didn't have any friends. At least that's really the impression that I've been getting so far. However, if maybe she thought her life wasn't wasn't worth living. I don't know if I'd say not anymore. I'm gonna go with this one.
Sometimes, when I feel really low, I used to think everyone would be happier without me. But I guess people don't really care. Besides, I live alone. Who could I be a burden to?
What makes you feel better?
I like this. This is a little bit of a happy turn. A long bath. Music. I play the piano when I'm feeling down. Oh, that's so nice. I wish I could play the piano. A long bath. A long bath makes me feel better. Antidepressants really did it for me. I'm gonna assume that she didn't take antidepressants because they couldn't have worked for her, because obviously see where she ended up. Work used to make her happy. No, her cats. My cats. My cats make me happy. Let's see, music or a long bath? Let's just go with cats. Cats are nice. Long bath doesn't always work.
My cats. I always put out a bowl of food for the stray cats. They're ever so grateful.
It's fitting for the game.
I like their company.
What makes you feel worse?
People, they let me down too many times. I hate it when it rains all the time. Noise. Too much noise really upsets me. Loneliness. I wish I had someone to talk to sometimes. It's hard to say. It could be anything. People. People suck. People suck. Right, Dave?
People. They've let me down too many times. I don't know who to trust anymore. I only trust my cats these days.
So you say in the suicide note.
Because that's true. I've been stabbed in the back more times than I could count.
Have you imagined your funeral and how people will react to your death?
Oh, I never really thought about that. I doubt it. If she's suffering from depression, I doubt she's never thought about it. Probably nobody would come. I imagine it often. I hoped people would feel guilty. Again, that's really selfish. However, it is pretty common. That's a pretty common mentality for a lot of depressed people to have. It's just one type of depression, but I don't see that being in Susan. I think since Susan is such a recluse, she probably would believe that nobody would come.
Probably nobody would come anyway. Can you imagine it? Now that's a sad picture. Loved by no one. Missed only by some cats.
Cats
no
matter.
No tears shed for me. No flowers on my grave. But that's okay. I never liked flowers. I wouldn't miss that.
That's sad.
Finally, I'd like you to tell me about Eric.
Eric?
Yes, your husband.
What?
I believe this might be important. What can you tell me about your relationship?
Husband?
What had happened between you two?
Husband? I don't really want to talk about this. This has nothing to do with him. Can I go home now, please? There's nothing to talk about. It's getting late. Can we talk about it some other time? This is a revelation. She has a relationship in her life. And I don't mean relationship like they're together or they're married, but whether they're exes or not, it's a social relationship that she has. And that's the first that we heard of. I guess she doesn't really want anything to do with it, or I don't know.
There's nothing to talk about.
Fine. I suppose
Really? Fine?
You've opened enough for one day. Okay, one more question. This is just a formality, but I have to ask, are you going to do it again?
That's a hard one. I don't know. But hey, I've got it. The answer is no, I'm not. Thank you very much.
Excellent. We're nearly done here. There's just one more thing I must clear with you. What exactly happened last night?
Well, after I'd met you outside
What?
the ward yesterday, I went back to my room and fell asleep. I slept really well, considering what happened earlier. But then someone woke me up. It was the same nurse who was so friendly with me the first night. She said we needed to talk.
We must go, Susan. You are not safe here.
But
Please, you must follow me, quickly.
This is weird. Oh, I can move. Thank goodness, because I have to save and I have to go, because this has been a very long, uneventful video. However, I hope it was interesting or kind of insightful or something for you guys. So, in the next video, we are going to continue and see what is it that Liz is trying to warn us about. See you then.